Squad, welcome back to Inhale Games. Today we are going to be talking about Apex, less so focused on the gameplay in the back and more so focused on the content discussion in the front. So today we're talking about the Lost Treasure Collection event. Not only the event that starts tomorrow, June 23rd, but all the changes that come with it. Now this is going to be just amping up and sort of changing the game, changing the season halfway through, giving it a boost of life. I'm a bit excited for it, so let's get into the video. Starting with the Armed and Dangerous Evolved Limited Time game mode. This one's going to be snipers and shotguns only, so already a little bit of excited there. I enjoy those type of game modes. You're either going to be doming from a distance, or you're going to be charging with the shotgun up close and dropping teams. But everyone's going to get a Mozambique and Evo armor. All other armor, not in the game. So you're going to actually have to push. You're going to actually have to engage to get those armor shields, increased and make it to the end game. Additionally, all respawn beacons are removed. That said, all players do spawn with a mobile respawn beacon in their inventory. So all players on the team are going to have the capability of bringing their teammates back, but they're going to have to be tactical in their decision making on when and where to do so, because I'm sure it's going to take a little while. It's going to be noticeable to deploy that beacon from the sky, then call your teammate in. You're going to be getting sniped there, bud. You're going to be getting pushed with shotguns. I hope that this is fun. This should be a fun game mode for the event, limited time, but it doesn't stop there. We also have a little bit of a map change with the Crypto Town takeover. Respawn says Crypto is taking over and providing some recon to Kings Canyon. Located at the southeast end of the map under the repulsor lies Crypto's map room. Use his tech to get the location of all legends on the map and check the screen scattered around the room to see how many enemy squads are nearby. So it sounds like we actually get tactical information from going to the map room, seeing where squads are near and far, how many squads are there. So we're going to get some fun gameplay. We're going to explore as Crypto in his map room during his town takeover. Excited there. And lastly, before we get into the legend updates and the big changes, we got Mirage's heirloom. Look at this little trophy here. What a handsome guy. Keeping it real with his, Mirage, everybody. Alrighty, so let's get into the main changes, the ones I'm most intrigued by, and the ones that I think will shuffle up and change the way some of the players play their legends, or even how they choose their legend going into the map. Let's get into the legend updates. First, Lifeline. We're talking her passive. Combat Revive now replaces Combat Medic. So her deployable DOC, her little doc bot, will now revive teammates. It will deploy a shield and revive Lifeline's teammates, leaving Lifeline free to defend her, that revive, or even go revive somebody else. She can pull 2 revives off at once now with her doc bot. That said, this fully replaces Lifeline's old passive, including the fast heal. I don't know if that means we won't even be able to heal at all with the bot and is just focused on pulling the revives. Even still, big ups on the doc bot there. Moving on to her tactical, it was shortened from 60 seconds down to 45, so you'll be able to use that tactical. Let's jump into her ultimate. Her care package now contains more items, so if it's going to drop healing items, it'll be times 3 the amount, and if it's going to drop attachments, it'll be times 2 the amount. Let's move on to Octane. Starting with the tactical, upon activation, Stim will remove movement impairing effects. Fantastic. It also now will increase sprinting speed by 10%. So no longer does it interrupt your visuals, but you're going to get an increased speed by 10%. So what a speedy boy, what a little buff there. Additionally, his ultimate, players can now double jump in mid-air after using Octane's launch pad. They can also change directions easily from the double jump. So awesome little, maneuverability options within Octane's ultimate jump pad now, as well as the buffs on the stim. Fantastic buffs there. Let's move on to Revenant. Tactical will now cancel Pathfinder's mid-grapple. Hell yeah. It'll also cancel Wraith mid-phase walk. Sweet. It'll also prevent Mirage's cloaked revive. Hell yeah. Mirage decoy control activation and lifeline combat revive. So her buffed Dockbot can now be silenced. See ya, sucker. Fantastic buff to Revenant there. And lastly, what I'm super hyped about is his ultimate. His death totem, the range was removed. So now it's just time. You can go as far as you want. You can make the plays. You can chase the players down. And as long as that death totem wasn't destroyed, and as long as you're still within the time frame, you're gonna respawn at the totem. I hated always crossing the line and losing my death totem and putting myself like, what was the point on making the play? I thought there was just something wrong with the ultimate, and this is the first step in the direction of making this guy the true beast he is. Revenant, hell yeah, to the buffs. Let's go Revenant. Moving on to Crypto. The event is sort of around his map room, but doesn't look like he gets much of a buff. You can, however, deploy his drone a little bit faster, 1.5 seconds from 2.5 seconds, so a little bit faster just to throw that bot out, get in the sky, and start scanning the AO. Additionally, his ultimate, that EMP, will now disable not only the shields of your enemy, but the Watson pylons, other things, charged by that power. So that makes sense as an EMP. All good there. Not much of a buff, but to those cryptos, you got something as well. Let's talk about Loba, newest character added in to the season. Or into the game this season. Her tactical will no longer be intercepted by Watson's pylon. With all the gameplay I've put on her, never once have I actually tried to flank a Watson, I guess, and been shut down by her pylon. So apparently that's a thing, but no longer will it be. So good on those Lobas pulling the flanks on Watson. Talking about her ultimate, it'll actually drop a full ammo stack now rather than just topping up the ammo you had. So say you had 37 light rounds, it would top you up to 60 when you request light rounds from the market, but now it'll just drop a 60 stack on top of your 37, putting you at 97 rounds or whatever, right? So fantastic change there. Additionally, her ultimate will now give 20% up from 17.5% when taking the ultimate accelerants. So a little bit faster to get that black market on the ground, get the ammo and whatnot you need, and get back into the fight. Moving on to Mirage, who, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't need any buffs. He's been rising to the top of Legends lately with his Shadow Clone Jutsu, but let's get into his changes, starting with the tactical. You can now hold down that button, the tactical button, whatever you set it to, then release it to auto-control the decoys, because they needed to be even better. They'll also now say voice lines when shot, because Mirage needs to be even better. Apparently, yeah. Mirage needs to be better. So let's talk about his passive. When cloaked, Mirage's hollow emitters will be visible to players that are less than 5 meters away. I guess that's a little bit of a nerf, right? If you're less than 5 meters. So if you're really close, he's not going to be super invisible, I guess. Skydive will now create decoys for the entire squad when you're still with the squad. So as long as you haven't departed Mirage, as long as you stayed with your squad, send down those Mirage. An entire Mirage for your team is going to go down. You're going to have 7 players landing with you, but it's all you. It's all you, baby. Because Mirage needs to be cooler. Let's move on to Gibby and Caustic, the two big boys. If anything, They also don't need buffs, so let's see what they get. They are going to be getting the tiniest nerf. So Gibby now will not be able to heal as fast when he's inside his dome shield, from 25 to 15%. So it's slowed down just a little bit, which is fine because he already has the extra health. He already has the arm shield. Just settle down. You don't also need to be able to heal faster and take over Lifeline's role, basically. And then Caustic's little nerf is that enemies can actually cancel his barrel cast. So if he's throwing it out, if it hasn't fully inflated and they've shot it, it'll cancel. So talented players can cancel out some Caustic aggressive plays. So a little nerf there. But now we get into the final two characters, and I think these two have the potential biggest adjustments just into how their characters play, really. So first, let's talk about Watson, and then we're going to talk about Wraith, the legend, herself. We'll get to Wraith in a second, but first, let's talk about Watson. Respawn says that their intent of these changes is to create openings where enemies can breach Watson's positions. It is still possible for Watson players to hold a position with the trophy indefinitely, but that should come at a cost of using ultimate accelerants. So, Watson's pylons now last for 90 seconds. They can have up to 3 pylons out at a time and stack 2 ultimate accelerants in her inventory slot. So the only legend that can hold 2 ultimate accelerants, this is to encourage the upkeep of her charge, so she can keep those pylons out, keep her fences up, and keep her team positionally advantageous, but not only just to one little house where you're basically sitting ducks. Now she can actually secure a whole area, a few different houses, set out a couple different pylons, up to 3 now, right, at a time, and actually just set down and control an entire area. And I think that's way more advantageous than just setting up in a house, because more oftentimes than not, you're just sitting ducks, the aggressors come in, and you go down. And I can't handle that. But now you can hold multiple houses, have, a couple teams set up with a few different angles, all with their own house trapped up by the Watson on your team, right? But instead of all 3 of you being in one house, you're one in each different house, all bunkered up. Like, I think that's just way more advantageous to an end game fight, especially on the top end scale of ranked. And we'll have to see what Watson thinks. So definitely let me know if you're a Watson main, what you think down below. And let's move on to Wraith. So Respawn here says increasing Wraith's tactical cooldown has proven to be ineffective at curbing her exceedingly high win rate and kill rate, which facts, like Wraith is a legend. But unfortunately, it's her phase walk has always been used as a get out of jail free card, and Respawn wants to adjust that and have it be used more as a repositioning tool or, a scouting ability. And so here are some massive nerfs, I guess you would say, especially if you're a Wraith main, to your phase walk. It's now going to take 1.25 seconds to enable, and it was 0.4, so already not so great. During this time, Wraith will receive a 20% move slow. So not only does it take a little bit of time to cast, that action is just going to be slower. So just everything's slow now about getting into that ultimate dimension. But this does not affect the phase walk while placing or phasing in the portal. Now, when you're in phase walk, she does, however, get a 30% move speed boost. So it takes, way longer to get there, but once she's there, she's going to start hauling ass to where she wants to be, scouting ahead or repositioning or getting out of jail free if she manages to get the cast off and Wraith out of there. Now, additionally, a little buff here, I guess you could say, with the movement speed is that you can actually see other players while in the void. So a little buff there. And phase walk now lasts 4 seconds instead of 3 seconds, so a little bit longer, a little bit faster when you're in there, and you can see the enemies. So I would say those are all buffs, but again, the nerf to how long it takes to get in there, it's way less of a get out of jail free card and more of a let's make a play card. And so I'm intrigued to see what Wraiths think. So again, let me know if you're a Wraith main and how you feel about these changes down below. Lastly, her phase tunnel decreased distance for portal placement by 25%, so can't quite get as far, I guess. But that's it for the legends. We do want to also talk about some weapons and loot changes, quality of life, and bug fixes. There was so many bug fixes. Every character had something going on that I didn't even realize, really, because I don't play all the characters enough. I sort of main the few I like, or the few that are really good on the season, I guess. But I'm just going to point out maybe a few that I find more than the rest of them. So let's start off with the weapon changes. Not many here, but this one hits me slightly because I love the Havoc Rifle squad. It's so good. Unfortunately, the magazine size is down to 28 from 32, so I'd have 4 less bullets, but it got slightly buffed in that they increased the horizontal recoil in the initial shots of the burst. So basically, I would miss the first 4 shots anyways, right? So now that I'm not going to necessarily miss those, I don't care that they're out of the magazine. So sort of a buff and sort of a nerf. Mainly, they've just balanced the Havoc Rifle because it's a beast. Nothing else there, really. They did also tweak the Sentinel chamber time to be a bit faster and the duration of the Disruptor rounds to be 120 seconds, up from 90, and that was actually it for the weapons. So they also made some zipline changes, and this is mainly based around the people that are jumping and jumping and jumping and zipping and jumping and jumping and zipping and jumping and zipping and jumping and jumping, all while taking a zip to try to get away from their enemy. I'm guilty of this. I definitely use it. I'm jumping up and down. I don't want to get shot, right? I feel like it's a smart tactic, but in order to sort of combat that, it looks like the ziplines are getting a bit of a nerf. A cooldown is going to be applied to re-grabbing the zipline without touching the ground. So if you're jumping from zipline like into the air and then re-grabbing that zipline, there's going to be a cooldown. And then that cooldown is going to be increased each time you disconnect from and re-grab the zipline. So it looks like we're going to maybe be able to do it once and then maybe get away with the second time. But if we're doing that a third, there's going to be a cooldown in between each time we're going to be able to jump on and off of that. And it's increased every time we do it. So it's not going to be as much of an advantageous way to escape the enemy, but it still is going to be usable, and I think that's fair. So we'll have to see what Pathfinder mains think about that. I only do that when I see a zipline, so I don't really know if it's much of an issue, and I don't know if that's even Pathfinder specific. I think it's just ziplines in general. Maybe it doesn't even touch Pathfinder ziplines, and it doesn't matter. I guess we'll have to see, because it just says ziplines, and there was no mention of that under the Pathfinder section, but I digress. Some quality of life changes was teammates can now ping friendly caustic traps, which is sort of cool. New health bar for when you're in the Revenant's shadow form, so you can actually know when you're going to die in that form, which is cool because you couldn't really tell before. And now the map rotation times are even between Kings Canyon and World Edge. Oh my goodness, my OCD was just, it tilted me. it wouldn't be even. It was like, what, was that an hour and a half already? No, it's been 1 round. We just got 1 round in. Wait, what? We're back on this map? We just played 7 rounds here. I was excited to go back over there. What is happening? And that is now hopefully fixed. So we will see about that. Also, we have the map change that I'm looking forward to with, again, Crypto's map room. So we will be exploring that and the new event tomorrow. I do appreciate you being here. Let me know what you are thinking down below about all these changes. I'm excited. I'm excited for the second half of the season. So let's get into it. I will see you there. But until next time, I'm RTB for retasking. Comms out.